How to set your boundaries. So, I wasn't always very good at it myself. In fact, I was pretty shitty at it. Uh, it took me a while to learn how to do it, and now I'm way happier. My friendships are much better and fulfilling, and my relationships with my family members are much more fulfilling as well for me. And my relationship is amazing, but my relationships in the past weren't always. So, the first thing you need to know about setting up your boundaries is it takes a long time if you don't naturally know how to do it. It's not what you want to hear, probably, but I'm being realistic with you. It takes a while to learn how to do it because basically, what you're learning to do is not just think with your heart. You're also going to start to think with your mind in these situations. It's going to have to be a balance of the two. The second thing that you need to know is it's not just about you. You're not just going to train yourself on how to set up boundaries, but you're simultaneously going to be training other people that you're setting up your boundaries, and they have to get used to it too. The third thing you need to know is you don't just do it once. You're going to have to train yourself and other people for every relationship that you have that you're currently unhappy with. Your relationship with a loved one, whether it's your girlfriend or boyfriend or spouse, your friendships, and your family members. For every one of those relationships, you're going to have to apply this. So here's what usually happens when you start setting up your boundaries. I'm not sure if you've heard it before, but there are givers and takers. So if you're having a hard time setting up boundaries, you're probably a giver. And if you like to take people, then you're a taker. So here's what usually happens when you say no to someone and you're setting up a boundary. Hey, can you pick me up from the mall later in like an hour? That's the taker. Now, two things could happen. Either you just don't want to, or you actually have something to do that you need to be somewhere, you need to prepare for something, so you can't. So you say, oh, I can't, I'm really sorry. Can't you do something else? No, I can't, come on, I always can count on you. I know I can count on you to do this. Then you say, okay, God, they do count on me. I'm the only person there for them. So then you go and you do it. And then what happens? Either you feel shitty afterwards, or that thing you had to prepare for suffers, or you're late to do something you needed to do, or whatever. That's typically why people are trying to learn how to set boundaries, because they feel shitty after giving too much from someone who's taking too much. So what you need to start to do is to stick to your guns. When they say no, or when you say no, you're going to have to learn to know what's coming next and accept that it's coming next and just get through it and stick to your guns. You know that typically when you say no to someone, you're going to have one of two reactions. Either they're going to get mad at you, or they're going to become like victim-ish and they're going to try to make you feel bad. Either way, they make you feel shitty enough so that you do something for them, right? So in your mind, you just have to know and trust by experience, because I've done this many, many times already, by experience, that when you get through this stuff, when you get through either their anger or their guilt trips, that it's going to be okay. And you might feel guilty afterwards at the very beginning once you start getting used to setting up your boundaries. But it's all a part of the training yourself part. In the bigger picture, at the end of the day, you're going to feel a lot better with yourself if you start to learn how to do this. So, 3 things. Again, I'm going to repeat them. The first thing is it's going to take a long time to set up your boundaries. The second thing is you not only have to train yourself and having a balance between making decisions with your mind and not just your heart, but with a healthy balance. You're also going to have to train the other person that is taking from you consistently. And then the third thing is you have to do this for every relationship. So this fix is not an overnight thing, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight into taking those first few steps on setting up your boundaries with the relationships that are suffering the most in your life. One thing I should say is that sometimes in some friendships or relationships, and even for some family member relationships that you have, it may mean that you will have to cut some people out. And that really sucks, but it is the reality of it all. I've had to cut off relationships in the past because I was giving too much, and when I cut it off, the other person couldn't accept it. And also friendships. After having conversations with former friends about, I can't do this, I don't want to, or how come you never come to my events, or how come you never support me, and they just don't get it. Sometimes it's just a lot healthier to just cut them off. And sometimes your exes or your ex-friends, they're not going to understand why it happened, and they may never understand. Maybe that's just the dynamic between the two of you, but remember that setting boundaries is a very important thing in order to living a very happy life. It really allows you to flourish and be who you are and to live your dream life, or to give you the chance to live your dream life. So I would really encourage you to try this and be patient with yourself, be patient with other people, and be brave, because once you get across it, it feels pretty damn good, and life gets that much more amazing.